15 years and 10 minutes.
Nice.
Okay, so Nashi is the Ukrainian word. It means our. This is our commitment, our children, our responsibility. I have to point out here that this project did not have to be in Ukraine. There's many places that could use it. But you need people on the ground, and you happen to know people in Ukraine who are doctors, lawyers, priests, you know, all the people that can make these things happen. So that's why it's there. No reason to be beyond that. Nashi is not a Ukrainian organization. It just happens to be there because it was easiest for us to do. So, early 2000s, or as my grandchildren call it, the olden days, Savelia was taking tours to Ukraine to find people finding their families as the doors opened up there. And she noticed a lot of activity at truck stops. Not that she was hanging out at truck stops, but in Ukraine at that time, if you wanted a public bathroom, you're better off using the bush. But the green gas stations had good toilets. So they stopped there whenever they could. And they saw girls being loaded into trucks. 5-ton trucks, just loaded in the back. And what's going on here? Shut up, don't say anything. Shut up, you'll get in trouble. Well, they're being sold. They're being hauled out for sale. So when she got back, she went actually to a program here in Edmonton where Victor Malarick, a CTV journalist, was speaking about his latest book at that time called The Natashas, which is about trafficking. And on the way back with her friend Betty Lawrence, they were saying, oh, somebody should do something about this. This is horrible. By the time we got to Lloydminster, it was like, what can we do about this? So she got home, called all of her friends over for coffee, false pretenses. And then once we were there, we were roped in. And we haven't looked back since. So it's been 15 years of, what are we going to do? So this is a lovely orphanage in Ukraine. Beautiful building. There's 750 of these. 110,000 orphans. Most of them not orphans. Most of them just have parents who are addicts or in jail or alcoholic or can't look after them. So, not a pleasant place. Bad photo, but lovely rooms. This is a bedroom. It's not much, it's half the size of this room. There's 14 beds. These are warehouses for children. They don't leave. School is there. Medical appointments come there. They never leave these facilities. So when they come out of there, guess what they don't have? Any life skills whatsoever. None. So they get out at 16. It's the equivalent of $50. Here you go. Bye. And quite often there's a long lost uncle waiting for them because the director made a phone call. And they're gone. So they get sucked into these ones. This is in Ukrainian.
What?
Work overseas, good money, no visas required. Yeah. These are up on every fence and every telephone pole, especially around churches and cathedrals, where they sometimes go to look for help. And they'll see this sign for, look at this, good job, no experience required. And they're gone. So now she decided, let's build a trade school. These girls that come out of these orphanages at 15 or 16 can learn a valid trade that they can make a living at. So we opened a trade school. We had companies in Saskatoon and people in Saskatoon donated commercial sewing machines, computers. We taught them sewing, we taught them how to design fashions, you know, and they were actually making and selling clothes, doing great, except they had nowhere to live. So they were coming to school and then leaving school and sleeping under a bridge. This is not good. So then we decided this is the wrong path for us. We gave the school away, building, everything, to another group that was going to run it. And went looking for a place for them to actually live. But we wanted to keep them away from the big cities and the traffickers. So we found this lovely little place. That's downtown. That's rush hour. It's called Stoyanyu. It's about 80 kilometers northeast of Lviv. Nice community, and we found this beautiful building. It used to be a kindergarten. Germans built it in the 50s, but it had been abandoned for many, many years. And we bought it. It was nice. It came with landscaping. It had, trees growing on the balconies. The interior was, well, the floors had to go because the other half of rush hour is the cattle go up down the streets. They were hanging out in there. So we went over and we started scraping plaster off the brick walls and the tile. And I'm not sure these years actually had to do that, but I think in Ukraine they used plutonium for the glue because it was just, we all chipped in about a jackhammer after 2 days of this. And then all the rubble we took into pails and hauled it up to the 3rd floor, which was the roof at that time, to use as backfill before we poured concrete. So it was essentially a green build. We opened up a lumber mill, an existing lumber mill in the town, and a brick factory. Hired all local people. The general contractor for this project lived next door. And hired, I think, about 35 people in total from the village. No drinking. You show up drunk, you're fired. Kept it in line. And then during this stuff happening, we had some interest from Omni Television, who filmed a documentary about Nashi's work. But at that time, we were still in construction, and we had still planned on having a home, not a home, but a live-in center to teach these girls life skills. Right? Traffickers didn't stay with that pattern. So they were still taking the girls out of the orphanages at 15 or 16, but they're also going after the 5-year-olds. So we had to change from having a center where girls would come for 3 months and learn some things and move on, to some place where they would live for 10 to 15 years. Different staffing levels, different design, everything. So we switched in midstream and ended up with this. So that is a 12,000 square foot facility. Notice there's a fence around it. That's not security. That's to keep the cows out. Because the neighborhood kids come and play here all the time. Okay? That's really what the village is like. It is that level of rural. This is a typical bedroom for 2 girls. Quite often we get sisters, and they will share a room. Most of them come in here amazed because the cots they're used to are like about 2 feet wide. And like, why is the bed so big? Well, you're going to grow. This is your bed. You have to fit in it. Nice kitchen. Basically a commercial kitchen. Classroom facilities for after school. They go to school in the village. They don't have a special school. They go in the community. They have their own garden. This is just a tiny portion of it that the girls are responsible for maintaining. This is Ivanka. She was our very first that we got in. She was 10 when she came. She had already been raped and abused in the orphanage and being groomed for sale. We managed to get her out. She came to us at 10 years old, had no idea what a fork was. I'd never seen a fork or a knife, because every meal there is a bowl of soup or gruel of some kind. She was hoarding food because she wasn't, yes, there's another meal coming, it's okay, but no, she would hoard food. And things have changed quite a bit. She's much happier now. Told her 2 years ahead in her grade levels for school because she was so far behind. Now she's caught up. She was also our first entrepreneur because when one of the cleaning ladies was going through some place, they found candy underneath her pillow. And we were kind of worried because there is actually a little store just down the street. It was taking from the store. No, she was charging the school kids to come play there. She was charging admission to the grounds. No, you can't do that. So this is what we have now. We have 16 girls there. You have a capacity for 20. You can't bring them in 10 at a time because these girls truly believe, even though they know it's not true, it's not like it's a falsehood, but they function and they believe they are sisters. This is a big house. This is like Mennonite colony. Only not, you know. They think our director, who is sent her in the back there, Maria, they call her mom. You know. And they are part of the community. It is not an isolated facility. They are part of the community and rapidly becoming not only a center for the community kids, but inspiration for the rest of the community. The graffiti has disappeared. You know, things are being painted. Lawns are being groomed. They're cleaning up simply because now they can see how nice it is when they do, you know. We provide them with the best we can. They're not overly spoiled, but they're trying to more or less get the same things kids here do. You know, they get bicycles, and yes, they'll be handed down because it's all different ages. You know, this one is 5. You know, she's not ready for the bike yet, but when she's old enough, we just installed a pool this year. Neighborhood kids come to use it as well, and we actually just purchased a small package of land next door, and have received a donation to build a playground, which would be for everybody. You know. So they really like it when the Canadians come to visit because there's things to do. We come in the summertime. They can play. They can go to the mall. Ooh, go shopping. They always bring crafts, and we, you know, and they do stuff. But when you go there outside of tourist season, when they're in school, and you can see the normal function, and you can see kids, they're not putting on a dog and pony show for us. We can see, and I've been there every year since we thought about it, girls that were so without hope. You know, they're worried about a meal, the next meal. They're worried about, is someone going to take me away? Are you going to throw me out? Are you going to leave me behind if we go someplace? To deciding what they want to do with their lives. I want to be a teacher. I want to do this. They've changed from that tomorrow, this afternoon or tomorrow thinking to long term. Because these are our kids. Any money we have now that Nashi receives that is not spent directly at this project is put aside for 12 months in case something comes up. And then it goes into investments because we're paying for all their university or their college or what trade school or whatever they want to do. These are our kids until they're out on their own working. You know, so it's not a short-term commitment. They have a very good facility there. It's not quite, and they're kind of happy about it. They really enjoy living there. They really do. We have a new documentary that we filmed ourselves that is out now on Omni, being broadcast on Omni. I have some copies of it here. It's also on YouTube. It's only a 22 minutes, it's for a half-hour show, but it shows the completed one and the difference it makes. So these are young girls that had no hope. We've got kids that came off the street at 5 and 8. We've had girls that the older sister was 12. She was kicked out of school because she was just too dirty, too much lice, too much dirt. Her parents were both addicts. Her younger sister at 5 had never left the apartment and had no language. She had her own little gibberish, but that was it. She had no language skills. And we got both of them. And the changes are phenomenal. To go back there year after year and see the changes that have been made with these girls and realizing that with the proper investment, this is possible anywhere. This is a model that can be used anywhere. This is a model that can be used in our First Nations communities because we're not taking kids and putting them in a big center in Winnipeg, you know, and teaching them something else. We're leaving them in the community. Okay, so you have local people teaching them skills. You have local people teaching them how to garden, in our cases here, some embroidery, how to make pierogies, whatever. And it could be the same anywhere. But so far, a response from anyone else has been less than stellar. I know if we tried to build this facility in Canada, we'd be into for about $5 million and we still have a vacant lot. Time all the governments got through it. This was built totally with private donations and volunteers. Nobody in Nashi receives a salary, and I'm not against people working against trafficking and receiving a salary because we need people there, but none of us receive a salary. This trip, driving here today, a hotel, everything's in my pocket, but that's the way it is. Something has to be done. So that is Nashi's motto, is do something. Do something, whether it's deciding what kind of products you're going to buy that don't support slavery, whether it's asking your politicians to do something, whether it's working like these people do with speaking out and bringing, it doesn't matter, just do something or get out of the way. We have no time, right? No time. No time left. So if you want to learn more about us, we're on the web, nashi.ca, very simple to remember. On Facebook and YouTube, we are called Nashi Our Children. Unfortunately, once we started operating, Mr. Putin, when he was still head of the KGB, formed a skinhead group called Nashi. Oh. Thank you very much. So now when you go online and search Nashi, it's kind of like looking for the cornhole game. You know that one when you toss the sandbags? Just try searching for the cornhole on the internet, so it comes up. It's not what you think it's going to. So please use Nashi Our Children. So Facebook and YouTube are on there as well.
And you did that.
And that's all I have, because I only had 8 minutes. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them, and just be aware that I have no filter. So you're going to get an answer. It may not be what you expect. But Jim.
You made a hint about dog and pony show. What are you referring to?
Go to an orphanage. When they, come in and see the orphanage, and they'll parade the kids out, and they'll sing a song, and they'll all be dressed nicely, and then as soon as you leave, get in the back, take those clothes off. It's an unfortunate thing, and this is not, I don't want to generalize that they're all like this.
No.
There are good orphanages there. There's also a bunch more that if you loaded up shoe boxes in Canada, made up all these boxes and parcels, and shipped them over there, they'd say, thank you very much, and sell them out the back door.
Right.
And the kids wouldn't see a thing. So that's what happens quite often with tourists that go over to see the orphanage. They get the dog and pony show with the kids, and they sing songs, and all look so happy, and then, it's not real.
Is there influence with the orphanages providing a very good model? Does that interact with the community, and do you see positiveness coming?
Oh, definitely. The community is very accepting of this. They knew what it was. Well, actually, we bought it first. Ben told them, because if they found out Canadians were bidding on this building, the price would have gone up. But they were very aware that it was for children, and they've been aware of it all along. And like I said, the kids, they go to school, their friends come over, they go to their friend's house. This is just a big house. It just happens to have a pool now, so it's very popular. But, it's not a separate entity. They are integrated in the community in all ways.
So how did you select each one of these children?
They come to us from essentially whistleblowers in the orphanages and the few social services programs that Ukraine has. So if they find a kid on the streets, a girl, we don't take the boys in right now, but chances are they'll come to us first. And then we have to go through a whole bunch of legal requirements. The girls can't be like seriously ill, like a major medical condition, or have HIV, or be mentally ill. They have special places for them that are actually better than the regular orphanages, but we can't have them. And then basically we have to get legal guardianship. Because quite often the parents will take them to the orphanage and then, oh, census time. I have to apply for my child credit kind of thing, so they'll come and get them out again. And we've actually had one girl whose parents did want to take her back. And she was relatively new with us and was still, do I want to go back with mom and dad? Still waffling, So we went to court to get some conditions put on. So her both parents were both addicts, and the place was the apartment was just horrible. They were given 3 weeks to clean the place up and to stop using. And they did it. They cleaned the place out. They literally emptied it right out. Basically boiled it, they cleaned it up and they repainted, put the furniture back or new furniture back, and then they haven't been using. And the young girl has to phone Maria, our director, every Friday and tell her how things are going. And if anything changes, she can always come back. But if the parents clean up their act and start taking care of their child, that's a better solution. So we are not against that. We're very happy that at least one family is almost functional again. So we'll take it. Anything else?
Do they contact you in Saskatoon?
No. We actually started. We are a registered charity, a Canadian charity. We're incorporated in Saskatchewan, and thanks to the efforts of Greenlight Awareness and Sir Optimus people, we're also incorporated in Alberta, just in time for the government to cut the funding. Thank you. But we formed a new legal charity in Ukraine that actually owns and operates it. We are the controllers and board directors of that charity. So without people there, without our directors and house mothers and maintenance people and all that, we couldn't do this. We can't do it from Saskatoon. All we can do is make sure there's enough funding to run it and provide overall direction kind of thing. But on the ground, it's their operation.
And there must be an extraordinary waiting list.
Oh yes, yes, there is. Like I said, you can't just give me 5 more. You got to bring them in slowly because both the girl coming in and the ones that are there have to acclimate to having a new sister show up.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, right now it's about $8,000 a month to run that thing with everything. And that's we have natural gas heat, but we also have a dual boiler system. You can also use wood. We get free wood from the utility companies. So we have a program. Our latest ask, I guess, from our donors is we have 16 girls there. We have a 7-passenger van. Math doesn't work out that well, and also we need a second vehicle, which we buy used. It's not as bad as it is here for pricing. So,
What would your monthly costs be for operating a place like that?
$8,000.
8,000.
It changes a little bit as more girls come in, but not horribly so. So we grow a lot of our own stuff for vegetables.
Your cash outlay is about $100,000 a year.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. And we also get people from the village bringing things. It's like grandma shows up with some fresh bread for you. It's nice because they like helping the kids.
But basically, the 100,000 has to come from Canada, I would say.
Canada, we have a few donors in the U.S.
Or North America.
North America, yeah.
Europe.
Ukraine itself is still, they're not a volunteer country. They spent way too long surviving. So to switch from, I got to provide for my family and nobody else to giving things away, even your time, it's a big leap from them. It'll be a generation before they're ready to do that kind of thing themselves. And I don't blame them. hammered for so long. Yes?
I didn't do the math, so has one left? Got old enough?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Ivanka's the oldest one, she's 15.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so another 2 years before she's ready to decide what she wants to do for university. Now there, university is cheaper than here. Some parts of it are free, depending on what you want to do, but there's no university in Stoyanki. You know, so she's going to have to go to Lviv or to Lutsk or to Kiev, so she has to live somewhere, she has to have, you know, all that's going to be covered by us. Same as any other parent, you know, there's no...
And when she's done university, I mean, not everybody gets a job right out of university. Can she come back till she gets a
Yep.
job?
Either come back or whatever it takes, you know. We hope some of them come back with a degree in psychology or something that it can help out. This is a tough thing. I know when they see us come to visit in the summertime, it's party all day. They're playing, they're getting swung around and flung in the air, and they're getting new toys. It's great. Other times in the year when there's no Canadians to visit, nighttime can be a sad time because none of them will be totally away from the trauma they've encountered, you know, forever. Hopefully it gets farther and farther back. And what we've tried to teach them is that scars tell you where you've been, but they don't determine where you're going. So, you know, you've had trauma, you're not going to have more of that kind anyways. There's other traumas in life, but I mean, can't shelter them from everything, but you're not going to go through this again. So, all of them have improved drastically.
I understand there's kind of a plan for high school for these girls. Is there?
Well, high school's in the community.
Oh, it's in Stoyan.
Oh yes, oh yeah. The high school's there. It's anything after that, and we don't think that any kid can really go that far without something after high school. It might be trade school. It might be an apprenticeship. It doesn't have to. They don't all have to be lawyers and doctors, you know. But they'll have something after high school.
What's the level of parents who have addictions? Is it quite high? All these orphanages?
Yeah, probably about 80% of the orphans are in orphans.
70% of all of the men that are in penitentiary
Yeah.
are from orphanages.
Yes. And the reason we chose girls, when we first started out, the boys always had the option of the army. And there was construction work, even in Poland and places around there, where they could go and work. The girls, not so. Now the army's not the best choice anymore.
The actual families that are in Ukraine, the households,
Mhm.
I'm assuming that the addictions, the families with addictions are quite high.
Yes. I don't know the actual number, but it is very high.
The alcoholism, most likely alcoholism.
That too, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But also drugs. And it's they're not any worse than anybody else, but the economy was so bad for so long, and then I can go into a grocery store there and see what choice do I have here. A bottle of water is $1.80. A bottle of vodka is $1.20.
And with all the reforms, I suppose that the government is to reach sense that the government is trying to change this or do.
The government has looked at has visited constantly. Likes the model, would like it to be a little bit bigger. We're not prepared to make it bigger. I don't think bigger will work as well. You've got to maintain it like a family. Family of 40 is a bit much, you know, even for the Dugars. You know, but they like the model, and they've actually offered to put, you know, we've got some girl that can move in here, we'll pay you for it. And we just said, no, we don't want any government fingers in. Once they get, well, we give you money, so now Yeah, no. You want to build one? The government to build one? Go ahead. We'll help you out. You know, but we're not giving up control of this one to the government because you just can't trust any of them. You know, really. Because it's not the new president that gets to deal with this. It's some bureaucrat down the line. You know, and I know when we built it, we spent probably an extra 4 months, 4 to 5 months, because the building inspectors all wanted a handout, and if they didn't get it, then they weren't going to approve this. We had to move our boiler from inside where they wanted it to a new building outside, or else we wouldn't get approval. We had to move, there was one outlet we had to move about 5 times. It's too low, it's too high, too low, it's too high.
Well, I got it, probably just the corruption that's in the government at that level.
Yeah, it's in the intermediate levels that it's bad.
Yeah,
It's a source of income for
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah.
But we did find out that it doesn't matter if you're dealing with a corrupt official or even traffickers. You bring a priest in, they all run. Don't know why. But you bring a priest in, who happens to be married to our director, and they all disappear. So, works out. So I just want to mention one thing. Nashi itself, I wouldn't call it a secular organization, but we are not faith-based. Okay, we have Ukrainian Catholic, Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Ukrainian Orthodox, Baptists, atheists, doesn't matter. We have a cause here, we're trying to save lives, not souls. You know, so the community that the house is in is an Orthodox community. But beyond that, there's no official religion for them or anything else. So we've actually turned down quite substantial donations to build a chapel in the house of this particular faith, or to, you know, to say no. I'm sorry, no strings.
That's awesome.
No strings. And there's a lot of great organizations that are doing things that are faith-based, and I'm not against that or anything, but it's just that quite often there's too many. You know, you can have this new playground in Moldova, but we have a daily vacation Bible school next door you have to come to get, you know, that happens a lot. And the work still gets done, but, you know, proselytizing is not our function.
Absolutely.
Well, let's give Andrew a round of applause.